The officer has pleaded guilty to violating a man's federal civil rights after he assaulted him in custody.
Yeah, he could face up.
Welcome, everyone. I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations, because recording the police and our public officials during the course of their duty shall keep things transparent, shall keep us free by holding them accountable. Now, this story comes to us from infamous Memphis. We know infamous Memphis, they don't care about the rights of the people. They care about the police covering themselves. And here is a story of Armando Bustamante, a cop in Memphis, and he did some not nice things to someone who he had arrested in January of 2021. And now, 2 years later, the wheels of justice, ladies and gentlemen, don't move fast. There is no quick trial here, but he is pleading guilty because I think he's afraid to go in front of a jury, because a jury will whoop his proverbial gluteus maximus. So he's pleading guilty, or pled guilty, to color of law violation. And check a little bit of the news out right here. Check this out.
The officer has pleaded guilty to violating a man's federal civil rights after he assaulted him in custody.
Yeah, he could face up to
10 years in prison. But here's the key, ladies and gentlemen. Will he be held accountable? Most are not. They make a big show of it. Ooh, he got arrested. Ooh, he's pleading guilty. The judge may say, you know what? Are you sorry? Yes, Your Honor. Oh, I understand. This has probably been very traumatic with all of the news exposure for you and your friends and your family, because you did things to this gentleman in your custody that you shouldn't have, that were completely illegal and criminal and immoral. Are you really sorry? Yes, Your Honor. All right. You know what? Let's let you go and make sure you get your back pay, because the police unions, they're very strong, and maybe they even own me. Let's see if justice actually is served. I will keep you up to date with this story. And by the way, the video comes from Junkyard News, and they had no commentary on this. I want to do some commentary on it. A very short video today. And thank you, Junkyard News, for all the work you do. If you're not subscribed to them, make sure to go over after my video and subscribe to them. And let's take a look, as we call it. Take a look. Let's take a look at the news report here.
Officer has pleaded guilty to violating a man's federal civil rights after he assaulted him in custody.
Yeah, he could face up to 10 years in federal prison.
Says Armando Bustamante was working as an officer with the Memphis Police Department. Federal charging documents say Bustamante willfully deprived an arrestee of the right secured and protected by the Constitution and laws of the United States to be free from unreasonable seizures by a person acting under color of law.
Holy Fourth Amendment.
Defendant struck ML with his pistol. It all comes down to violating the Fourth Amendment.
There are so many ways to justify officer misconduct. It's really surprising to see anybody ever be held accountable.
I agree with that. It's surprising to see anyone held accountable, but it ain't over yet, ladies and gentlemen, until it's over and he actually is sentenced. So let's stay tuned to see what happens. Again, I'm going to keep you up to date on that.
Yeah, and so pushing ahead tonight, we asked MPD for Bustamante's picture as well as his personnel file from when he was with the department. So far, we have not heard back. We also haven't heard back from his attorney, and he is set to be sentenced June.
Hope they lock him up and throw away the key.
God.
Well, is it a surprise, as Gomer Pyle from the old days used to say, that we don't have a mugshot? Someone should be able to get a mugshot. And if anyone finds it that watches this video, please send it to me. I will post it. And mugshot in his personnel file. Why are they so non-transparent? And of course, that's a self-answering question. We know why. But bit by bit, with every video that I create, with all the videos like Junkyard News and Brian of Here's the Deal, and all the other people who hold police accountable, we will create police reform. We are the masters of our public servants, not the other way around. And put comments, share your comment. Do you feel this officer will be held accountable? And here I'm going to share a bit more with you before we go today. And this is coming to you from, oh my God, the official justice.gov. You can go there and read it yourself. The United States Department of Injustice. Let's see what they say. Former Memphis, Tennessee police officer pleads guilty to a civil rights violation for assaulting a man in his custody. You see again how even this, the headline, it minimizes it. He pleads guilty to a civil rights violation. It sounds like he called a person a name he shouldn't have called him. Instead, he hit him in the freaking head with a gun and with his fist, his hands. Continuing. A former Memphis Police Department officer from the infamous Memphis Police Department pleaded guilty in federal court in the Western District of Tennessee to one felony count of deprivation of rights under color of law. That's a big deal. That's not a little deal. That's not a slap on the wrist. For assaulting an arrestee in January 2021. And again, you see how depraved these people are. People are completely vulnerable. They are freaking arrested. They are incapable of defending themselves. Their hands are behind their back in torture cuffs. And that's not enough for these pieces of garbage cops. Snuff-headed booger-whackers. And also nerf-headed muffle-baggers. Not enough for them to take away their freedom, but now they got to be sadistic and torture them as well. Continuing. According to defendant's admissions at the plea hearing, Armando Bustamante was working as an MPD officer, that's infamous Memphis Police Department officer, in January 2021. While on duty, Bustamante struck a man in the head using his service weapon and his hands without legal justification, because he's a sick mother bleeper. Bustamante's assault caused bodily injury to the man. You think getting pistol whipped hard metal object to the soft head here results in injury? I mean, we're talking, there could be critical injury, fractured skull, concussion that the gentleman probably wasn't even treated for. The former Memphis police officer abused his authority by violently assaulting a man without basis. Who does that? What's going on in that depraved mind of that person that they would think that was okay? He did it because he wanted to, because he likes doing that kind of thing. Continuing. Officers who willfully use excessive force without basis are not above the law and will be held accountable almost none of the time. Only when a video comes out, for the most part, are they held accountable. No video, no police crime. No video, no police crime. That's the mantra of the police. Continuing. Whether in Memphis or any corner of the country, this is the Justice Department speaking here. The Justice Department stands ready to vigorously prosecute those law enforcement officers, torturers, sadists, who defy the Constitution and violate people's civil rights. God bless America. Thank you, Justice Department, for those wise words upholding our rights. The United States cares deeply about violations of civil rights here in Memphis and throughout America. Right. What have they done to assure accountability in Memphis? Not just with Tyree Nichols, but for decades before this. It's a cultural problem, ladies and gentlemen. Someone got caught here. It's a rare thing. The overwhelming majority of police officers do their jobs honorably and lawfully. I think I got a squirrel bone stuck in my throat there. As this case shows, we will not hesitate to hold those who violate civil rights laws to account. There is no place in law enforcement for officers who use excessive force. Well, that would include the huge majority of police officers there. So why aren't they all gone? Why aren't they all held accountable? And why are the people who see an officer using excessive force torturing someone, why don't the good cops stop them? Oh, that's right, because there aren't any good cops. Or not that there aren't any, because there are, a fractional amount of good people who will stop them. But it hardly ever happens. It's very, very rare. And when they do, they are ostracized, they are fired or reprimanded or fired, sometimes injured, assaulted, and sometimes perhaps even killed. Continuing. I'm going to say this one more time. There is no place in law enforcement for officers who use excessive force. Civil rights are at the core of the FBI's mission. Oh, God. Is this a Dave Chappelle comedy sketch, or is this actual real life? And we are dedicated to ensuring that those who are sworn to protect their communities do so without violating the civil rights of those they serve. Almost never happens. This plea is the result of the efforts of law enforcement to ensure that any officer who violates the civil rights of those they are sworn to protect and serve are brought to justice. God bless America, said Acting Special Agent in Charge Douglas S. DePodesta of the FBI Memphis Field Office. The FBI is committed to protecting the civil rights of all people, and wearing a badge does not make one above the law. This cop, torturer, sadist faces a maximum penalty of up to 10 years in prison and 3 years of supervised release. A sentencing date has, and I can't see it because my camera's in the way, been set for June 15th. I got a professional camera, not a webcam here, that I use here. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's broadcast. Thank you for joining me. Do you think and feel that Armando Bustamante will have justice served upon him? And what can we do to assure justice is served upon him and all the other officers who savagely torture innocent people in their custody under color of law? It ain't right. Stay tuned for more. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me. Please subscribe. Also, if you'd like to donate, you could donate. I have the information in the description of the videos. Donate to the cause. Appreciate each of you. Remember, record the police. Whenever you see them, record them. And make sure that you don't have facial recognition on your phone. They can just hold it right up to you and they get you there. Make sure you have a password-protected phone. Whenever I do audits, it is always password protected. Remember that. Thank you so much. The truth shall keep us free. Keep recording the police. This is Leroy Truth. I'll see you next time. End qualified immunity right now. End internal investigations right now. Felony to mute or edit or delete or mess with body cam footage in any way. 24-hour release of body cam footage. All chiefs and supervisors held responsible for crimes of all police officers in their department. And number 6, end police unions right now. Thank you for who you are and for being freedom-supporting, freedom-loving people who are taking action to assure our freedoms will be intact. Until next time, this is Leroy Truth.